Your dog is staring at you right now. Not looking, staring. There is a difference. Their eyes are locked on yours with a softness that most people interpret as pure love. And while that might be partially true, the actual science behind why your dog gazes at you is far more complex and far more beautiful than simple affection. Today we are going to discover what your dog is actually communicating when they look at you that way. And by the time this video ends, you will never interpret that gaze the same way again. Most people believe dog eye contact is a sign of trust and love, and those things are part of it. But they are not the whole story. The truth is more nuanced, more neurological, more scientifically fascinating. When a dog holds your gaze, multiple things are happening simultaneously inside their brain. It is not one simple emotion. It is a complex cascade of neurological and hormonal events triggered by eye contact itself. Researchers at the University of Tokyo conducted a groundbreaking study that revealed something extraordinary about the dog-human gaze. They measured oxytocin levels in both dogs and their owners during periods of mutual eye contact. What they found was remarkable. Oxytocin, the bonding hormone, increased significantly in both the dog and the human during sustained mutual gazing. The levels were comparable to what happens between a human mother and her newborn infant during eye contact. This was the first scientific evidence that dog-human bonding operates through the same neurochemical pathway as human parent-child bonding. But here is what makes this even more interesting. The oxytocin release was specific. It happened during genuine mutual gaze, not when the dog looked away, not when the human looked away first, only when both maintained eye contact, which means your dog is not randomly staring at you. They are actively engaging in a bonding behavior that floods both of your brains with the same hormone that creates mother-infant attachment. That is not incidental. That is profound. But the gazing behavior goes even deeper than that. Dogs are also using eye contact as a form of communication that predates language. When your dog stares at you with soft eyes, they are sending specific signals. Researchers have identified several distinct types of dog gazes and what each one communicates. There is the soft gaze with slightly relaxed eyes. This typically signals contentment, trust, and affection. There is the intense, focused stare with forward ears. This typically signals attention, interest, or a request for something. There is the wide-eyed stare. This can signal fear, uncertainty, or surprise depending on the context. And there is the hard stare without blinking. This is typically a signal of dominance or challenge and is very different from the soft, loving gaze most people recognize. The problem is that most dog owners do not distinguish between these different gazes. They assume all intense eye contact from their dog means the same thing. But that assumption can actually lead to misunderstanding what your dog is trying to communicate. That a dog giving you a soft, relaxed gaze is expressing emotional connection and safety. A dog giving you a hard, unwavering stare without blinking is expressing something very different. Understanding the difference is crucial for interpreting your dog's actual emotional state. But there is another layer to dog gazing that is equally important. Dogs have learned to use eye contact strategically. Over thousands of years of domestication, dogs evolved to understand that direct eye contact with humans gets results. This is not manipulation in a negative sense. It is adaptation. Dogs learn that when they look at humans in particular ways, humans respond. And humans respond with attention, food, play, affection, and connection. So dogs began using sustained eye contact as a tool for communication and for getting needs met. This is why your dog stares at you when their bowl is empty, why they stare at you when they want to go for a walk, why they stare at you when they want to play. They have learned that this behavior gets human attention and results. Neuroscientist Gregory Burns, who conducts brain imaging research on dogs, found that dogs actually show increased neural activity in the reward centers of their brains when they gaze at their owners compared to when they gaze at strangers. This means the reward your dog receives from looking at you specifically is neurologically real and measurable. Your dog is not just looking at you. They are experiencing a genuine reward response from the act of gazing at you. That is neurologically significant. But here is where it gets even more interesting. The gazing behavior is bidirectional. Your gaze back at your dog matters just as much. When you maintain eye contact with your dog while they are gazing at you, you are reinforcing the bonding behavior. You are increasing oxytocin in both brains. You are communicating back to them that the connection they are offering is received and valued. This is why dogs often seem to relax and settle when you return their gaze with soft eyes and warmth. They are receiving confirmation that the emotional connection they are initiating has been accepted. But many dog owners miss this opportunity. They scroll on phones while their dogs stare at them. They look away first. They avoid eye contact because they misinterpret it as dominance or challenge. And in doing so, they are actually missing opportunities for profound neurological bonding. There is also fascinating research on what happens when dogs and humans gaze at each other. The synchronized breathing patterns, the heart rate synchronization, the emotional state matching. These are not coincidences. When you lock eyes with your dog, your nervous systems actually begin to synchronize. Your breathing patterns become more similar. Your heart rates align more closely. You begin to match each other's emotional states at a physiological level. This is called neural synchrony, and it happens between bonded humans too. Parents and children, romantic partners, close friends. The fact that it happens between dogs and humans with the same intensity reveals something profound about the depth of the bond that eye contact creates. Dogs also use their gaze to regulate human emotions. Research has shown that petting a dog while making eye contact lowers human blood pressure and cortisol levels more effectively than petting without eye contact. The gaze component matters. It is not just about the physical touch. It is about the emotional connection being communicated through the eyes. When your dog gazes at you softly while you pet them, they are not just passively receiving affection. They are actively regulating your stress response through the neurological connection being established by the mutual gaze. But dogs are also incredibly perceptive about human emotional states through eye contact. Dogs can read minute changes in human eye movement, pupil dilation, and gaze direction. They use this information to understand human emotional states far more accurately than most humans give them credit for. A dog can sense fear through eye contact, sadness, anger, anxiety, confusion. They are reading your eyes constantly and adjusting their behavior based on what they see, which means when your dog gazes at you, they are simultaneously reading you while offering their gaze. There is a constant bidirectional flow of emotional information happening through eye contact. Your dog is not just looking at you. They are assessing you, understanding you, responding to your emotional state, and offering their own emotional state back to you through the intensity and softness of their gaze. This becomes especially noticeable during human emotional distress. Many dogs will increase their gazing behavior when their owners are sad, stressed, or anxious. They will move closer and maintain more intense eye contact. This is not random behavior. This is a dog actively trying to support their human through eye contact and proximity. The gazing intensifies as an attempt to regulate and comfort. But there is also an interesting phenomenon where some dogs avoid eye contact or reduce their gazing behavior during human stress. This is not because they do not care. It is because they are stressed by the human stress and their own nervous system is dysregulated. The lack of eye contact reflects their own emotional state, not a lack of concern. Understanding this distinction helps dog owners interpret their dog's behavior more accurately. There is also individual variation in how different dogs use eye contact. Some breeds have been selectively bred for higher responsiveness to human emotional cues and higher tendency towards sustained eye contact. Border Collies, Golden Retrievers, Cavalier King Charles Spaniels, and similar breeds often show higher rates of sustained mutual gazing with their owners. Other breeds may show less eye contact behavior naturally due to their breeding history. A Siberian Husky or an Afghan Hound may be less inclined towards sustained eye contact simply because their original breeding purpose did not require reading human facial expressions as intensely. This does not mean these dogs love their owners less. It means they may express that love through different behavioral channels. Understanding your individual dog's natural tendencies toward eye contact is important for interpreting their gaze accurately. There is also the phenomenon of what researchers call the puppy dog eyes effect. When dogs make their eyes appear larger and rounder, they are often unconsciously triggering human caregiving responses. This is not deliberate manipulation. It is an evolutionary adaptation. Dogs with features that triggered human nurturing responses were more likely to be fed, cared for, and allowed to remain in human communities. Over generations, dogs evolved to unconsciously display these features more prominently when they want something from humans. The wide eyes and soft gaze combination is neurologically triggering your human caregiving instinct. You are biologically programmed to respond to those signals, and your dog has learned through evolution and individual experience that this behavior gets results. But perhaps the most beautiful aspect of dog gazing is what it reveals about what you mean to your dog. When your dog looks at you with soft eyes and sustained attention, they are communicating that you are their person. You are their secure base. You are the emotional center of their world. The gazing is a form of emotional anchoring. They are using your face, your eyes, your gaze back at them as an emotional reference point. When they look at you, they are checking in, confirming you are still there, confirming the bond is still intact, confirming they are still safe and loved. This is why dogs often gaze at their owners more frequently during uncertain times. During thunderstorms, during times of change, during moments of stress. The gaze is a way of reestablishing the emotional bond and seeking reassurance. And your response to that gaze matters enormously. When you return your dog's gaze with warmth and presence, you are confirming that the bond is mutual, that they matter, that they are seen and valued. When you ignore their gaze or avoid eye contact, you are communicating something very different. Not intentionally, perhaps, but your dog receives the message nonetheless. Which is why one of the simplest and most profound things you can do for your dog is to return their gaze. To look into their eyes when they look into yours. To hold that moment of connection. To let them see that their presence matters to you as much as yours matters to them. Because in that moment of mutual gaze, something neurologically real is happening. Oxytocin is flooding both brains. Nervous systems are synchronizing. Emotional states are aligning. And a bond that goes deeper than words is being reinforced. So the next time your dog looks at you with soft eyes, stop what you are doing. Meet their gaze. Hold it for a moment. And understand that you are participating in one of the most profound forms of connection available between two different species. Your dog is not just looking at you. They are loving you. They are bonding with you. They are communicating that you are their entire world. And when you return that gaze with equal warmth and presence, you are returning that same message back. If this video changed how you see your dog's gaze, share it with someone who has a dog looking at them right now. And if you want to keep exploring the science of what your dog thinks and feels every single day, subscribe. We post every week. Now go look into your dog's eyes. They are waiting for you to notice them.